Okay, tonight, the question is, why is forgiveness so hard? That can mean a multitude of things. Corey kind of alluded to it earlier. That can be personal forgiveness because that's something that I struggle with. It can be forgiving friends. It can be forgiving family. Just anybody. Anybody that you struggle with forgiving. Whether that's yourself or other people, we all struggle.
So why is forgiveness so hard? Rachel, what did you say?
Pride.
Pride? Okay.
We let our own pride get in the way of our relationships with other people. Whether they have apologized for it or not, whether they deserve it or not, we are supposed to forgive them regardless. So it's we're supposed to follow the example of Christ and forgive 7 times 70 over and over and over and over.
Whenever it's it seems unfair because a lot of times something will happen and in my mind, in my human mind, I'm just so angry and I'm like, they A, didn't apologize for it, or B, didn't even realize that they did it and it was wrong. So in my mind, I'm like, they need justice. It's not fair for me to forgive them, or it's not fair for me to be struggling with this problem. If I'm upset about something and they don't even know about it, which I know that's a communication problem, but in certain situations, it's why do I have to deal with this and they don't even have to know that?
Even if they do know and they just don't care, or they're not putting in the effort, and then you're like, if I'm not the one who did something wrong, why should I be the one to lie?
I will say this. I would at least communicate with them and let them know, hey, I won't let you know, hey, this made me mad, it kind of hurt me, but I'm okay.
Now this is a little for how it is for me personally, but I think that to an extent, if you don't forgive somebody, then you're holding on to the fact that you 100% believe that you were right. And there's almost a certain amount of satisfaction in being able to be mad about somebody doing
Everyone loves to feel righteous anger.
Yes, absolutely. Right. Because you feel like you're in the right and they're in the wrong, and that's been displayed.
But the whole righteous anger, people love to be right, and people love to be righteously angry. Mm-hmm. And honestly, that's part of what fuels the whole us versus them mentality.
I think also part of forgiveness is, I think it's easy, if one person does something to you, to assume it's the intent of everyone. And I've done that before. I've had situations in my life where someone's hurt me and I've just assumed the worst about all of humanity from that. Describe it. But not everyone else is going to do the same thing to you, because it's so easy to get in this mindset of holding on to that pain that you think everyone's going to do this to me. It's going to be a reoccurring thing.
I think that we are very quick to make assumptions on how other people mean things, whether it's actions or words. Kind of goes back to the boldness and humility that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, and boldness in knowing what we believe. We're called to if someone has wronged you, or if there is an issue with a believer, to go to them and talk about it.
We put up a lot of walls emotionally with each other, and we think, hey, if I share my emotions with this, I'm somehow less than or weak, or I'm not.
We are humans and we're going to be wrong some of the times, and accepting that and humbling ourselves to either ask for forgiveness or accept forgiveness. Because
I think pride is such a central problem in everything, but when it comes to forgiveness, whether you're on the giving or receiving end, but I guess we're talking about the giving of forgiveness right now. It may, I don't know, from my personal experience, I find it difficult because it's I feel whenever I'm not with everybody, I find it easier with some people than others. That sounds super passive aggressive. It's not, I promise. But it's just forgiveness, I think it can be seen in certain situations as just kind of a sign of vulnerability, I guess, because a lot of times people can take the term forgiveness to such an extreme, because like you were saying earlier, forgiveness and reconciliation are two entirely different things. And reconciliation is the next step. And sometimes people will take forgiveness as okay, everything's normal and none of this ever happened. And so basically they're just so I can do this again and they'll just forgive me and it'll be normal again. The forgiver is kind of just can be taken as a sign of weakness, I guess, and makes somebody, causes people to perceive that person as easy to take advantage of. I think that kind of makes it difficult for anybody to want to forgive anybody, just because it's so easy to seem weak or vulnerable from that.
and she was like speaking to this group of people saying like, you know, she forgives all the people who did things to her. And then afterwards, one of the men who was like a German Nazi or whatever came up and was like, do you really mean what you said? She was like, yeah. And he said, do you forgive me? Because he had personally done things to her. And it took her a minute because she like had to actually realize like what God had done for her to be able to actually forgive him. So sometimes like we say we've forgiven and then we actually have it on what it was that someone did. Because if someone like hurts us really deeply, it's harder to forgive. And then we talked about how we're the ones that actually suffer from our own unforgiveness. Because sometimes we think, you know, if we don't forgive someone, we're like getting back at them, or but really.
You're going to giggle when you see what I say a lack of forgiveness does to you. It's nothing bad, it's nothing really funny, but you're going to giggle when you say that it does that to you.